This, my friends, is a tin. A tin that I found while cleaning out the closet. It's a tin full of lost memories. Pun intended. Or more likely than not, it's just filled with junk cards that I deemed interesting back in the day. I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! As a kid, but as I grew older, I slowly forgot about it. I haven't played this game for more than 10 years. Now we are going to change that, as I decided to challenge myself and try to get back up to speed with Yu-Gi-Oh! Welcome back to our third episode of Struggling Against Casual Decks. As you probably noticed, I haven't uploaded for a while. The reason for that was that I had a bunch of live stuff to do, so I just dropped the whole thing. More than a year went by, and out of curiosity, I decided to check out the channel. That is when I found this comment, which made me rewatch both episodes of Up to Speed. I found myself wanting a continuation of the whole story, while realizing that it was a bit dickish that I just dropped the whole thing last year. So, here we are, dropping back into the series. One more thing, some parts of this episode were filmed last year, so my voice might sound different. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the episode. In our last episode, we realized that even though our deck gained a lot of consistency, we didn't have a good win condition. Getting Junk Warrior on board and trying to beat over stuff with it clearly isn't working out. That is why today we are going to use the leftover dollar from episode 1 to get us another fat sleeve of shiny cardboard. Today's shipping cost exactly $1, and with the cards included we totaled $5.90, which we will round up to $6. Before we get into the good part, we have one additional card that we are putting in our deck today. So we are taking the second copy of Duel Frog from our tin and putting it in our deck. Now let's look at the new cards that we got this week. Our first card is Cyber Synchron. It has a great effect that allows us to change up levels of our monsters to get out our synchros more easily, plus we can banish it from the grave to protect our monster in the extra monster zone from destruction. The second card that we got is the priciest yet, Satellite Warrior. It allows us to destroy cards on the field up to the number of synchro monsters in our graveyard. Then gains 1000 attack for each card that was destroyed. Its second effect triggers on its destruction, and allows us to special summon up to 3 level 8 or lower warrior synchron or stardust synchros from our grave. All in all, this card is a huge boost to our deck's power if we manage to pull its effect off. The next card is another synchro, and it's FA Dawn Dragster. Its last effect is the only reason we got it, as it allows us to negate anything that our opponent throws at us and destroy that card. After that, we have 3 Storming Mirror Forces. What's great about this card is that it bypasses destruction immunity of certain cards. I think that it's a great value card that will protect us when we brick or can't defend ourselves. To finish off the pack, we have 3 Synchron Carriers. They are great starters if we don't manage to get a level 2 monster in the grave or can't get synchro material on the field to start our combo. You can probably guess which bricky pies these 3 are replacing. With the opening over, we can get straight to the deck upgrading segment. To start off, we are putting in our Duel Frog and taking out Kaiku. This increases our chances to have Swap Frog and one other frog in our hand, which will allow us to get Ronin Toadin and another frog in the grave, which will give us a way to bring Ronin Toadin to the field. That will enable us to boost Junk Warrior's attack higher, or even get to Totally Awesome if we get it in the future. After that, we are taking out the Gadget Squad and replacing it with Synchron Carrier. The boys were just too slow to compete and their only function was to tin out our deck, so in the tin they return. Their replacement, Synchron Carrier, will boost the deck's consistency and allow us to extend our plays, which is crucial if we want to build big boards in the future. The next card that we are replacing is Level Warrior. Its special summon effect is good, but its replacement, Cyber Synchron, just seems more versatile and fitting for our deck at the moment, especially with the additional protection effect from the grave. To finish off the changes to the main deck, we are taking out both Sakuretsu Armor and Call of the Haunted, and replacing them with Storming Mirror Forces. Sakuretsu Armor is basically a worse Mirror Force, and Call of the Haunted wasn't that useful anyways, so I hope that this change will be beneficial for the deck. But we will see that when we get to play the matches. The last thing to do is to put Satellite Warrior and FA Dawn Dragster in the extra deck, which is now at 12 cards. This finally brings us to the combo update. Today's first play is in case we only draw 2 useful cards, Tuning, Rota or Junk Synchron and Synchron Carrier. First we need Junk Synchron in our hand, and then we can use Synchron Carrier to bring us to Junk Speeder, which in turn allows us to go any route we want to, depending if we are going first or second. Going first we can get F8 on Dragster on the board. Going second we can first use Junk Speeder and Junk Synchron to bring out Junk Destroyer to pop one opponent's card, and then use Junk Destroyer and Road Synchron to bring out Satellite Warrior to destroy another opponent's card, which can open them up to our attacks. This play is basically the most limited one of them all. Our other plays with the Frog Engine or Quillboat Hedgehog allow us to go further, enabling us to end on F8 on Dragster and Stardust Dragon going first, and Satellite Warrior with Nitro Warrior in some cases when going second. Our deck is now ready, so let's see how we did in today's match. Today we are playing against the Dogmatica Charmers deck. I start off with a T-set and pass. The opponent goes into 3 Awakening of the Possessed and starts building a board while drawing a bunch of cards. She destroys my Quillboat Hedgehog and attacks directly. I manage to draw Tuning and summon Junk Synchron, which gets Quillboat back on the field. This allows me to bring out Junk Speeder, but she uses Dogmatica Punishment, which destroys it. Nonetheless, we still get out all of the tuner monsters from the deck, which still allows us to climb into Satellite Warrior. After that we use Pot of Avarice and recycle our monsters from the graveyard and additionally draw 2 cards. We then proceed to attack with the Satellite Warrior and pass the turn to the opponent. The opponent once again starts to combo off and just fills up the field, managing to destroy our set spell card, get rid of our monsters on the field and attack directly, which ends game 1. Game 2, the opponent starts by summoning 2 monsters and passing. I set Penguin and 2 back row and pass back. The opponent brings out Trishula and bans our Penguin and Quillboat from the hand. This allows her to smack us, after which she passes the turn. I set Quillboat and pass back, and she summons Luna, with which she attacks. We flip Mirror Force, which bounces her monsters, and that opens up our big play. We go through the Junk Speeder effect and summon Nitro Warrior and Satellite Warrior. We then use Pot to recycle our graveyard and draw 2 cards. The opponent tries to use Awakening, but Satellite Warrior negates it. She proceeds to bounce our Satellite Warrior with Luna and steal Gaia from our grave with Monster Reborn. We manage to bring out Junk Speeder for the second time with Synchro Carrier and get to Junk Destroyer, which pops her Gaia. We use Junk Destroyer to climb into Colossal Fighter, which gets pretty big from all the level 2 boys in the grave. With the big boy on board, we managed to win game 2 easily. Game 3, we start off with a T-set and pass. The opponent sets 3 back row and summons Theo and Nefarious Archfiend, with which she gets another Charmer card to the grave. She destroys our Penguin, but we bounce her monster and she passes. We pop one of her set cards and get out Junk Synchron, which once again brings us to Junk Speeder, with which we climb into Junk Destroyer, that pops Punishment, which she chains to destroy our big boy. She gets out Theo, but can't do anything but destroy our Cyber Synchron. You basically don't do anything for 2 turns, and then I top deck Foolish Burial. This allows me to combo and get out Satellite Warrior, with which we pop her Mirror Force and destroy Theo. She sets to back row, but I can tell it's a bluff, and it isn't, as her Mirror Force bounces all of our cards. We summon Junk Servant and she gets Theo on the field once again, destroying our monster. At this point she has 2 Awakening on board, which means trouble, and we are out of options, but Tuning saves the day. We manage to get out Junk Warrior and then climb into Satellite Warrior that destroys her set card and then destroys Theo. She then proceeds to set monsters for 2 turns with us destroying one of them and bouncing the second one. At this point she can't really do anything, so we hit her directly and win the 3rd game, which wins us our first match. So, you might have noticed a tiny detail. I only showed 1 game. And the reason for that is the fact that it was the only game I played before my hiatus. So, instead of dropping additional random games, I decided to just use this single one. This episode felt like a pretty big deal to me. We won our first match, and I returned to making the series after I almost forgot about it. At the moment, I have to study the deck a bit, as I haven't played the game in a while, but that shouldn't be a problem. Editing the game footage already gave me a pretty good idea about the current deck problems that we are facing. I believe that the penguins are becoming redundant, and just make for a slow start. The other problem might be the froggy boys. We might have to reduce their population. If we solve these two problems, the deck still isn't nearly ready for locals, so I might have to spend a few more episodes playing against other very casual decks. I am planning on getting into a few matches with a bunch of people I know, so there might be a more diverse deck listing in future episodes. I really hope you enjoyed this episode, even though it took so long for me to put it out. If you want to see more, please like and subscribe. Bye bye.